Once again, from the wastelands of the internet, I have come. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I have come with news. News from the wastelands of what used to be known as the internet. Yes, I am the nomad. Good morning, Mr. Barclay. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Jacob. Um, let's talk about some of these things real quick here before we start getting into the actual news. Um, First of all, the the idea that Israel, all right, and that the relationship, all right, with Israel and the United States is one way, okay, is not an inaccurate assessment, all right, of the situation. However, it's not completely accurate either. Okay, you cannot divorce U.S. from and forget about the things that were done in the past when it was a bipolar world with the Soviet Union. All right, I'm not making excuses. I'm not saying that Israel is the best friend of the United States because they haven't been. I have not forgotten the USS Liberty incident. You can look it up if you want. I have not, and I'm not going to forget it either. Okay, it's not, but at this point in time, it's not germane to this kind of problem. And Jacob, there is one thing that you should understand. Okay, because Israel is the focus of these Middle East ragheads, all right, and I'm talking about the jihadis, okay, there's been a lot of terrorism that hasn't come our way. Because if Israel wasn't there, it would all be directed toward us. I want you to understand that. I want everyone to understand who you're dealing with. When Lindsey Graham made his comment about this is a religious war, he's not wrong. It is a religious war. Whether we respond or not, whether we do anything or not, whether we say anything or not, from their perspective, it's a religious conflict. It's really more of a cultural conflict, to be honest. But that has to be understood. They are not going to change, not on their own. They have to be defeated first. And I mean defeated harshly before they will figure out that, okay, well, maybe we need to change. They will not accept it any other way. There's a lot of people running around whinging all over Twitter right now. Oh, I don't want to see children die. Oh, I don't like it when Hamas attacks children, but I don't like it when Israel does the same thing. Right there, you're already wrong. Right there, you're the one who is causing it. If you're one of those, a pox on both houses group, you're one of the reasons this shit is happening. And I'm deadly serious about it. Because you can't sit up there and tell the difference between somebody who is intentionally targeting children, trying to kill them in their sleep, all right, and won't stop unless they're killed. They will not stop, versus the guy who's trying to kill those people, all right, who are then using children as human shields to try and stop you from getting rid of the child murderers to begin with. If you think that there's a moral equivalence there, you're an idiot. And I'm going to say one more thing for all you flipping fools out there that want to go, pox on both houses, pox on both. And yes, I'm talking about Jeremy. And yes, I'm talking about you, Aiden. You want to play the pox on both houses game that somehow you're this great virtuous individual. You're not being. What you're doing is you're saying that these people are equivalent. You want to play the pox on both houses game, but neither one of you sons of bitches have ever come up with a solution, have you? Let's hear your solution to this. Before you play that pox on both houses game, before you sit up there and start playing around about a moral equivalency there, Okay, and go whinging and crying about it. Let's hear your fucking solution to stop the murderers, all right, from going after children. Because I would love to hear what you think is going to solve this problem. Told you rants were going to be coming today. I warned y'all that rants were going to be coming. All right, it's one of the problems. Didn't Biden just unfreeze the billions to Iran? Yeah, he did. And then he's trying to refreeze them now. Let's get started, shall we? Let's get started with this nonsense. Alrighty. AP's Gaza reporter repeatedly ripped Israel on social media, says oppressive regime should be overthrown. A reporter for the Associated Press, all right, based in Gaza, has a social media history of blasting Israel as an oppressive apartheid regime, leading to criticism that he can't objectively cover the conflict. No shit! No shit, really? In a now deleted post on X, formerly known as Twitter, exactly 1 year ago, he wrote, "The Palestinian revolt against Israeli oppression will be a triumph, and every colonial system will be overthrown. Meanwhile, you should reflect on what you did to contribute to it all." Okay? Yeah, you should be reflecting on what you did to contribute to these murderous bastards still running around. You should be sitting up there looking to reflect, all right, on the murdering bastards that did all this. They're in a they're in a prison. It's like being in a prison where it's an open air prison for millions of people. It's not even close. Open air prisons, huh? But the United States, of course, under Biden, can't figure out how to sit up there and get its people out of harm's way. Funny, other nations, however, like Japan here, don't seem to have a problem. Japan's SDF planes head for Djibouti to prep for an Israeli evacuation. 3 air self-defense force planes left Japan for Djibouti in East Africa on Saturday to prepare for the possible airlifting of Japanese nationals from Israel, where tensions are rising following the Palestinian militant group Hamas's massive attack a week ago. The ASDF's KC-737s, all right, refueling and transport airplane departed the Komeyaki Air Base in central Japan, and 2 C-2 transport planes left Miho Air Base in the western prefecture, of Tortori to stand by at an SDF base in Djibouti. A number of countries have launched operations to evacuate their citizens from Israel, but not the United States, it seems. The United States can't seem to sit there and figure out how to sit up there and take care of its own civilians. Meanwhile, over in the land of Great Britain, the Isle, across the pond, thousands rally in UK cities in solidarity with the Palestinians, and that's going on US campuses too. Okay. Attendees who marched through the heart of the British capital, as well as Manchester in northern England, Edinburgh in Scotland, and other cities, were shadowed by heavy police presence. In London, demonstrators massed near the BBC's news headquarters before an afternoon rally near the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's Downing Street office and residence. Some held Palestinian flags and placards bearing slogans like "Freedom for Palestine" and "End the Massacre" and "Sanctions for Israel" as they made their way toward the endpoint for the planned speeches. Chants of "Rishi Sunak's shame on you" could be heard. I think all just people around the world, not just in Britain, but must stand up and call for this madness to go F yourselves. You let me know when you want to sit up there and end the madness by arresting the murdering savages, all right, that bashing the heads of children. When you're willing to do that on your side, when you're willing to sit up there and get rid of Hamas, which is does not recognize the state of Israel, when you're willing to recognize the state of Israel and condemn Hamas for the killings of children, all right, and I mean condemn them in the sense of that's one of the son of a bitches there and pointing them out and getting rid of them. When you go on a purge campaign in Palestine to get rid of Hamas, I'll listen to you. Until then, I'm giving the support to Israel. Period. And if you freaking fools, I can't believe you're dying, know that. Well, how are you planning on stopping it? Let's hear how you plan to stop Hamas from killing children. I want a concrete solution from you. Because if you're going to go bitching and children are dying, it's easy. You want children to stop dying? Stop Hamas's killing. Because that's the only way to do it, dumbass. Hey, DM. Now, let's take a look at this. LeBron James gets backlash after speaking out on tragic, unacceptable war in Israel. The war in Israel has grabbed the attention of everybody, including arguably the most popular athlete on the planet Earth. No, he's not. Okay? Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi are the most popular athletes in the world, folks. This Not saying James isn't a popular athlete around the world, but he's not the most popular athlete over those two, by far and away. Okay, LeBron James posted a joint statement with Maverick Carter through the Spring Hill Company, their entertainment development and production company they founded in 2020. In the statement that was posted on Instagram Wednesday night, they described the devastation in Israel as tragic and unacceptable. The murder and violence against innocent people by Hamas is terrorism. The Spring Hill Company family extends our deepest condolences to Israel and the Jewish community. We pray for peace in the region and reiterate our continued commitment to fight hate in all its forms. We must work to ensure this tragedy does not spread even more hate, racism, and anti-Semitism. Okay, and here. You want me to applaud you? There's your applause. Now, I'm not going to condemn James for this statement. But once again, where's your solution? Where's your solution to stop the murdering bastards? Where are your solution to ensure that the murdering bastards aren't rooted out and gotten rid of? Where was the passion for Portland and Seattle and Chicago, D.C.? A little spun up this afternoon. Okay. Let me know when he talks about anti-white hate. With all due respect, LeBron, you haven't cared about the Islamists at all, to be honest. I mean, that's okay, right? But you haven't condemned the Uyghur massacre in China either, have you? You want to bitch at the United States. This is the thing that gets me. All these people want to bitch about what's happening to the freaking Palestinians in Israel. Well, ask the Palestinians if they want to trade with the Uyghurs in China. It's hell. It's hell being in the Gaza Strip. Okay, let's do a one-for-one swap. Palestinians for Uyghur Muslims, and let's see what happens. Let's see how many Palestinians volunteer. You see, real butchery around the world against Muslims, all right, by a group that they fear, they don't say a freaking peep. Where's Iran's, bitching and whining and whinging about China? Where's Saudi Arabia's? Where's Egypt's? Where's Turkey's? Oh, they talk a good game about the West. Oh, yeah. But if there's a nation that they're fearing, like China, well, go ahead and keep butchering the people. Go ahead and give them real slave labor. It should be a proposal to the UN. I propose that we remove the Uyghurs and replace them with Palestinians. For a year. We'll do it as a trial phase. See what happens. This is one of the biggest problems in America today. Yale professor ripped for vile comments about Hamas attack against Israel. Settlers are not civilians. A Yale professor is facing intense backlash on social media after she made several remarks that appeared to downplay the murder of Israeli civilians by Hamas and paint the Jewish state as an oppressive regime. On Saturday, journalist Rachel Shabi, tweeted, "Civilians are civilians are civilians. It doesn't matter where," appearing to condemn Hamas's terrorist attack on Israeli men, women, and children in their homes. Settlers are not civilians. It's not hard. Historical anthropologist and documentary filmmaker Zarina Greenwald, who works as an associate professor of American Studies, Ethnicity, Race, Migration, and Religious Studies at Yale University, previously published a book focused on transnational Muslim networks that link U.S. mosques to the Islamic movement in post-colonial Middle East. She created a film that examines the radicalization of Islam and the history of discrimination faced by Muslims before September 11, 2001. Her tweet about Israeli civilians has been met with outrage. No shit. This person is a college professor preaching hate. You want to end hate? Why don't you sit up there and start calling it out? Now, that's not a problem for people like Aiden Paladin and Jeremy from the Quartering. They do call it hate. They do. The problem is now, is they're trying to play a virtue signaling game of, children killing children is bad. I can't support Israel because children might die. So in other words, you want the children to continue to die. Both of you waiting for the freaking magical freaking wish fairy, the magical genie. Yes, he can be taught. The magical genie to come on down, and go, oh, looky there. well, looky. Oh, we solved the problem. All right, the Hamas are no longer there. And the children, and when you go to war, children have this magical genie protection field that prevents them from being held hostage, by Hamas. James wants sports ball wand. Simple. No, yuan, excuse me. No, it's very true. Yeah, it's very true. Small blow. Aiden Paladin is one of the people that I follow. All right, she's a great resource. She's very meticulous. All right, but in this situation, she is acting like a 2-year-old, and this is the problem with a lot of her generation. Okay, they've never had real hard choices. They really haven't. Okay, she and Jeremy the Quartering both come from a world where the most you would do is get yelled at on the left, by the leftists, right? And they've learned to accept that. They've watched the leftists enough to know that the leftists don't have a freaking solution. The problem is they still believe in the wish fairy. There's a lot of people that believe that warfare can be done in pinprick manners and that you can always hit the bad guy. Well, first of all, when you talk about the term civilian, all right, you're talking about an actual nation state and actual soldiers in uniform. What uniform does Hamas wear? Tell me. Tell me how you differentiate a Hamas soldier, a Hamas acolyte, right, from a regular civilian. Show me how it's done in the Palestinian in the Palestinian. Okay. They wear civilian clothes. They dress in civilian garb. The only time you think you got to worry is when all of a sudden they're wrapping their faces. And nowadays, hell, they're wrapping their faces all the time. That's the problem with this crap. They're so used to a pinpoint war that they use terms that they don't even know what those terms mean. And they don't understand, and they can't even wrap their flippant little tiny little brains around the fact that, hey, the world doesn't function that way. Rules of war about between civilians and soldiers is only for civilized people. Are the Palestinians civilized human beings? Are they? Then how are you going to sit up there and apply that warfare that way with them? Because they're not going to change, folks. You're not going to go in there and say, well, your little civilians wouldn't be targeted and killed, and they wouldn't be, subject to these raids if you'd sit up there and dress in uniform and attack military to military assets. They're not going to do that. They have no intention of doing that. They never have. So how are you going to convince them to do it? I would love to hear your freaking plan. All right, enough about this crap. I've whinged enough. I've whined, I've bitched, I've ranted long enough on this here. Let's go to something else, shall we? Let's go to what else is in the news? Trump. CBS's Catherine Hedridge blows up Jack Smith's latest leak claiming Trump discussed potentially sensitive nuclear subs with a foreign national. Potentially sensitive information about nuclear submarines with Australian billionaire Anthony Pratt during a meeting. Base this on secondhand, but the episode was investigated by to gag Trump and accuse him of attempting prejudice the jury pool through disparaging and inflammatory attacks on the citizens of the district. All right, the court, the prosecutors, and prospective witnesses, according as described. Mar-a-Lago. All right, according to Pratt, everything Trump told him about the nuclear submarines was all deal. So, in other words, Jack Smith is on a terror campaign, or a media campaign, rather, all right, to tar and feather Trump, talk about shit, all right, about Trump, to lie about Trump, and to go out there and lie, and yet not one of these flip-tards, not ABC, not CNN, who also ran with the story, not CBS, sitting up there and saying, hey, how come you lied to us? How come? I would love to see Jack Smith's prosecutors are being interviewed by the media. I would love to see say, well, why